Truth seekers. All right, it is Friday, and we're going to hang out tonight. We're going to be here a few hours hanging out tonight because the conversation that I'm going to go to, I think, is one of the best conversations of all time because it's going to intersect two groups, the alien groups like ourselves and the paranormal. And probably throughout the show, I'm going to probably text a few of my friends that are paranormal ghost experts and see if they have time to come on with us tonight. But either way, we're going to cover the thing that I've always been wanting to talk about. I've always thought about and been like, man, can't they both do the same thing? Because listen, I think that there's only one phenomenon behind it all. I think there's one intelligence, and it goes by many names. This is just my thoughts here. We can call it ghosts, we can call it spirits, demons, or aliens. I don't think they all may be separate at all. They may be the mask worn by one single force, an intelligence older than religion, more advanced than our science, more intimate than our own thoughts when you come down to us. And so, but you got to break it down like this. To the grieving, it appears to be a lost loved one when they see this, right? And I think it has its own. So let me kind of put this on the screen here so we can kind of go through this right now. To the spiritual, it poses as an angel or a god. To the scientist, it shows up on the radar. To the child, it slips into their dreams as a light in the corner of the room. You know, some call it the boogeyman. It adapts, it deceives, it reveals only what you are ready to see. Like when I tell you, your eyes are useless when your mind is blind. So we gave it names. We call it the watcher. We call it the Djinn, the angel, the alien, the god, the demon, the ancestors, the ghosts, the guides. But the behavior has never changed because, like I said, on here, it all walk through walls. However, it studies us. It enters us. It walks through our walls, into our lives, and across thousands of years, across every continent and culture, it has written and rewritten our beliefs and hiding, I think, in plain sight. Tonight, we're going to pull back the veil. We're going to be here a long time tonight. So, because we're going out tonight, we're going to go. I'm going to hang out with the fellows here tonight, and I'm going to go out on a date with the gals here tonight. And so we're going to trace the footsteps of the single presence. And one, I think, that has hunted our dreams, hijacked our religions, as well as disguised itself in all of the myths. Now, what I'm going to share with you isn't folklore. This isn't theory. This is the unified field of the unexplained, and I call it the one intelligence behind many names. And before tonight is over, you're going to look at your beliefs, your memories, and you won't look at none of them the same because, as my trademark tagline says, you may not believe it. All right, so let's get into it tonight. And I'm glad that you all are here because we're going to get in really deep. And I haven't talked to a friend of mine in a long time. So I may text this professional ghost hunter and see if she's not out tonight with friends or whatever. Maybe she can come and all that. We got my boy Lim is in the house tonight. And you guys got to check out his channel. So, Lim, make sure you put it in the chat, and I'll put it up on the screen because this is my guy. We got to support what he does, especially if you want to laugh and you want to have some thought-provoking things that he shows that these people and these cops and police and stuff do out on these streets. You definitely want to check it out. All right, so we got 4 segments tonight. 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And that means we could be here a lot. In fact, I may bring you tomorrow. That's how long we could be here tonight. I don't know, but I'm going to try. Segment 1, we're going to talk about the similar powers, different names, themes, the ghosts, the spirits, the aliens. They may be fragments of the same force seen through the fractal lens of culture, belief, and fear. And then we're going to get into segment 2, the ancient myth and modern sightings that goes. The themes across every culture, the beings, the hunters, the ones that abduct us, the test, all of this. And they changed their names over the years. And this is stuff that I've been looking into for quite some time. And then segment 3, we're going to get in, segment 2 is pretty long. But segment 3, we're going to get into the science or magic the technology versus the spirit realm. Oh, that's going to be deep. And the theme, could we all call paranormal alien be misunderstood forms of advanced conscious manipulation? We're going to get into that. And then in segment 4, we're going to get into what I call the ancient. No, we're going to skip that. No, we're going to do that. Ancient astronaut theory. We'll do that. But segment 4, we will touch on. Let me make sure I scroll here to give you what we're going to be doing. What are we really actually dealing with? Are these beings alive, aware, mechanical, spiritual, or something that doesn't even fit human language? So I hope that you are ready. Put the children to bed, because as you know, what we talk about here is not PG. And if you have not fixed your dinner, you know, a Texas recipe is a little bacon, some eggs, some breakfast, you know, that makes a really good, quick, you know, meal for tonight, because tonight we're going to have a great time, and I'm excited, feeling great today. Got my grapes over here, got my water, and I got my little slide. If I need to take a restroom break, everything is prayer. Preparation meets opportunity, and that means it is ready to roll. All right, so let's get right down into it. And then, like I said, I'm going to page a friend of mine. I'm going to text a few people to see. Share this tonight. Share the video tonight so we can get a few hundred people here. And then also, if we so choose, then we're going to put this right here. Look on the bottom of that screen right there. I'm going to have some of you share your ghost stories. I don't want alien stories tonight. I want ghost stories. Reason, because I'm going to handle the alien side, the comparison. But when you share your ghost story, if you so choose, come up on the screen later on tonight, then we can hear about your ghost stories, and or a ghost story. Maybe you got one of the best ghost stories out there that we need to hear about. But I guarantee you we may see some similarities in what's going on in the extraterrestrial world, the consciousness world, all of this stuff, man. I think it's all connected. I really do. I really believe that it's all connected. So if you're ready to go tonight, put in the chat. Let's go. Yeah, those text words. And you got to remember, since it's a long night, there's going to be a possibility that I'm going to have to use my virtual grammar box, which is over here, and the virtual letter box, which is over here. And remember, it's unlimited letters. So if you see me misspell something on the screen or some word, something pops up, you go in there and you correct it with unlimited. You can do it as many times as you like. If you hear me mispronounce a word, but if you did understand what I said, even though I mispronounced, see right there, even though I mispronounced a word, then there's no need to correct me, because that's an ego thing. But if you do need to do it, you go into this virtual grammar box, you get as unlimited corrections as you want and put it within your mind. All right, so I see a couple of let's goes. Our godmother is in the house tonight. Diana's right here with us. So give her a shout out. We got Diane and we got a little. So let's roll. And we're going to be, let's just roll. Let's just roll. All right, so segment 1. Like I said, the theme is ghost spirits, aliens may be fragments of the same force, seen through a factual lens of culture, as well as belief and fear. So I'm going to start with what you saw on the screen, walk through walls. In fact, let me just put that back up here, because that is the part of the point that I want to make. They both walk through walls, and I think that's pretty interesting. Okay, we got a new member tonight, John. Let's see if I can put that up on the screen. Give a shout out. Give a shout out to John, became a new YouTube member. All right. Yeah, so we welcome our members here. Y'all know how we roll. So y'all give him a warm welcome to being here, because he could have been any other place tonight, but he chose to be right here and right now. With that being said, as a community, we're going to serve everyone tonight. So, all right. And work with me on this. Ghosts glide silently through solid matter, right? I mean, we hear about this all the time. They come through the walls. Then we explain it as they are not bound to the physical. But is that another way or another word for extra dimensional? That's a question. I want you to ponder on that tonight. I want you to think about it, because we're going to go deep. We're going to grasp some areas tonight that some people are going to think, well, Roderick, is just a figment of your imagination. But as the old folks would tell you, spirits exist. As the conscious community will tell you, oh, your ancestors are talking to you. As the loony being form is going to tell you, you need psychiatric help or you're schizophrenic. And as the alien people are going to tell you, oh, you are a starseed or whatever. Y'all get where I'm going, right? We're talking about the same thing that walks through this wall, that everybody sees it different and they're going to have their own spin on it. And we're going to put it all together tonight because I think we need to be one community. I really do. Aliens now, because I just talked about ghosts. Aliens in abduction lore are repeatedly said to appear in locked rooms, pass through barriers, and levitate people through ceilings and walls without even doors opening and without even alarms sounding. What's with that? Because I got a question for that. If they're using advanced technology, then why does it resemble spiritual possessions more than sci-fi operation, right? Because you think about it, when they levitate somebody and they put somebody through the wall, it don't feel like no science technology. It feels like a paranormal event. And in most cases, anyone who, and in fact, I got my guidebook here tonight. We're going to go through some of this stuff, all of this, the unexplained. We're going to go deep tonight. So what do y'all think about that, though? What's the correlation? What's the connections when it comes down to that? Now, demons and spirits. See, I'm going to touch on every last one of them tonight in all aspects. Demons or spirits is a ritual magic or possession cases often manifest inside closed rooms, same thing as the alien does. Even objects, it can, possess this grape. This grape is not though, but somebody could say it is, but it's not. I ain't even claim that. Without any arrival point, they're just there. The demons just show up, the spirits and all of that stuff. But the deeper thought of this is, could this suggest that matter itself is negotiable and that reality as we know it can be hacked, either by technology or by a spiritual force? Ladies and gentlemen, I think that we're on to something tonight. I think that, all this week, you heard of how the aliens handle stuff in both of the book discussions that we have been doing. And all of that says that we are immortal spirit beings. And if that's the case, it's going to go deeper. But then I know that it's going to touch a few people what I'm about to say next. And before I get into the abductions and possessions, how that work together, I want to touch on something right now. I want to touch on the religious side of things. I think it's a trigger when we think about it, because this is something that I've contemplated on, just me. And if you agree with me and you're part, and me and you can work together or think together, or we all on the same page, I want to know, because I want to make sure I'm not by myself about what I'm about to tell you. I'm serious of what I'm about to tell you. I want you to know. I don't want to be alone with the thought process, okay? All right, so let me spill it out. If angels in the Bible appear suddenly in locked rooms, as with Christ after the resurrection, and demons emerge out of thin air like in exorcisms, how different are they from alien visitations? I know I just said it now. Come on now. Come on. I know y'all heard me. Because see, this is where I wish this was one of those big rooms where there was a lot of paranormal experts and demonic spirit experts. And then we got our alien experts. And we all sit here and even Bigfoot people can show up. And we all sit here and be like, hey, you know what? Let's compare apples, oranges, and some grapes. And I'm going to repeat that again. If angels in the Bible appear suddenly in locked rooms, as with Christ after his resurrection, right? And demons emerge out of thin air when they talking about exorcism, because they were like, oh, I get the demons out of them. How different are that from alien visitations? Same thing. What do y'all say? Let's look over here. Dr. Strange said, but no flat earthers. Okay, all right. I believe there are different categories of beings. Okay. Durable say, hey, brother, looking handsome. Thank you. Thank y'all. You know what I'm saying? I figure we'll go out and hang out with the fellas tonight. I'll, try to get a little clean cut, and then for the ladies, we all on a group date night tonight, right? So we're gonna go, all of us, and we're gonna hang out tonight. So what do y'all think about that, though? Are we confronting the same beings the Bible warned about, just with modern eyes and labels? That's the question. It's not rhetorical. So somebody answer it for me. Are we confronting the same beings in the Bible that the Bible warned about, that just with modern eyes and labels these days? Is it the same thing? Because supposedly there's nothing new under the sun. So what do y'all say? All right. So we have an answer. JJ saying angels come to people who are highly vibration and have a frequency, but there are also times angels will intervene in people's life if they're in danger, or show them that the angels are real. Okay. Demons can do that. Ghosts can do that. Aliens can do that, right? They all can do the same thing. Are we talking about the same stuff? Okay, so let's break it down. We're going to break it down into abductions versus possessions. Okay, I'm going to do it, and I'm going to text a friend of mine. Maybe they're able to pop up, or maybe not. They may be like, no, I'm out, chilling with the family, or whatever, and maybe they could. I don't know, but I have having a deep conversation live. We're going to say we live tonight about ghosts. All right, let's see, ghosts. And we're going to put aliens, spirits, and the connections. How about that? Are they the same? You want to hop on? Hi. Okay. All right. So let's keep going, and we'll see. Does this include people who practice voodoo? You know what? It could be. It could be. I mean, I think it all goes the same. All right. So abductions versus possession, the body as what I call a battlefield. Now, ghosts, and listen to this, ghosts possesses people or attach parasitically, right? Some mediums speak of long-term guests living with them. You've heard that before. A lot of people say that. They also say aliens take people against their will, paralyze them, implant foreign objects, erase their memories, and monitor their thoughts. Now, are these the physical versions of a demonic possession, though? You get what I'm saying? Does it sound the same? Think about it. I'm going to say it again. Ghost possesses people, or they're attached to people parasitically. Some mediums speak of long-term guests living with them. Aliens, take people against their will. They paralyze them. They implant foreign objects. They erase their memories. They monitor their thoughts. Are these physicalized versions of a demonic possession? Now, we can talk about the shamanic cultures. They speak of walk-ins or soul harvesting, where spirits temporarily or permanently displace the soul. And if this is not a metaphor, it's warfare over the consciousness. And once again, it seems as similar as it can get, right? Now, the question, though, that I want you to emotionally think about here, what if the phenomena of alien abduction and spiritual possession are both invasive technologies of the soul? And I know you're like, Roderick, whoa. I want you to think about it. Let that simmer for a minute. Let that simmer for what you know and all that you do know about both of these things, okay? Let it simmer. Because again, what if the phenomena of alien abduction and spiritual possession are both invasive technologies of the soul? You got to remember, all week we've been talking about we're immortal spirit beings. We are or we in this soul trap. And I'm using the same terminology. And it appears that everything seems to know that but us, right? At this point, everything seems to know but us. So is that true? Now, here we go. And like I said, I just want you to know, I'm not going against one grain or the other. I'm just putting out some thoughts. I'm just putting out an objective viewpoint. I'm just putting out some of my conscious thoughts sometimes. And I just have a bunch of friends here with me that we're just talking and we're shooting the sugar honey iced tea together, right? We're doing that, right? We agree to do that because tonight I'm gonna tie into some biblical stuff, and it's got nothing against the Bible. I'm just trying to say maybe the Bible was talking about the same thing. Maybe it's been saying it all along, and people just broke it up into all these categories. Maybe there is a core X factor between all of these connections, because in the Bible, Jesus cast out legions of spirits that claim territory inside a man. Did I state that wrong? Let me repeat that. I know this ain't Sunday. We're not in church. We're not doing that. I'm just saying, in the Bible, Jesus cast out legions of spirits that claim territory inside man. Or a man, right? We remember that, right? So when you think about UFO lore, and by the way, let me put this out here in case you knew, so you know where I'm coming from, where you know my angles. I'm a certified UFO investigator. I've been in 11 different TV shows as an expert about UFOs. I've been on Coast to Coast Radio. I've been on Open Minds, Regina Meredith. You know about her on Gaia. I've been on George Nori and Gaia. Host a TV show on the Alien Endgames it's on Discovery Plus channel, Tubi, Fox Tubi, Forbidden Knowledge. This Gaia, I'm a brand ambassador for Gaia. Also was featured on Ancient Aliens in a History channel. So before you or my haters, you know how they do it. Oh, well, why he talking about that? Now you know. You can go back and tell the others. So where I'm going with this, so my angle is always going to be from this UFO thing, but I'm really curious about all this other stuff. And I'm way curious, and you better believe it. So once again, I'm going to repeat. In the Bible, Jesus cast out legions of spirits that claim territory inside a man. In the UFO lore, abductees often report multiple beings controlling their bodies and voices. So are the legions of the old grays of today? Boy, that's a powerful thought. Are the legions the old grays of today? What do y'all think about that? And if it's far left, it can be far left, or it can be far right, or it can be in the middle. I'm just saying, it's just a question. It's just a thought. I can't even say food for thought, because it is a real question when we think about these two things right here, the ghost and the aliens. You know what I'm saying? So let's really get deep in the mind with this next one. Let's really get deep. This is just me getting into the mind, okay? Because we got a long way tonight. This is something I've been holding for 4 years, 3.5 years, and I just said tonight is enough. We're just going to go on out of it. I'll be making notes, talking about it, and I just constructed it all together in 4 segments for hours of talk. Because by the time we're done with this, we can move on to another conversation. So let's get a little mental bomb here. If we were made in the image of God, then why are so many beings, spirits, or extraterrestrials obsessed with violating or controlling that image? I can probably stop now. I can probably end the whole show, and we can be thinking about that the whole weekend, even though we got a few hours left of content here. Just with that question, I'm going to repeat it because I know some of y'all was doing something. Some of them was chatting with each other, or maybe nobody was paying attention to me because, sometimes I get a little petty. I want to know if I'm just talking to myself, and I'll be like, hey, can you give me a okay, or give me a let's go, or I just want to know who's with me. But for this one, if we are made in the image of God, right, then why are so many beings, spiritual or extraterrestrials, they're all obsessed with violating or controlling that image? Everybody wants to be God. Everybody wants us, the Anunnaki, the reptilians, the whatever. Everybody wants that image to be placed in our consciousness that they are God. Well, I don't know about a ghost. I don't think a ghost come up to somebody and tell me I'm God, but they may say I'm your grandmother or something. I don't know. But why is that? Is that not worth noting? So I don't know. Djinn said, I have an answer, but it's not exciting or conspiratorial. Well, lay it out. I'll put it on the screen, my buddy. You get what I'm saying? And maybe later on you can come up on stage, because I got a lot of, to go through, and we can give some short answers and keep it moving. Y'all know that's the archiver of the show, or of our team, period. We're talking about Djinn. So let's talk about shape shifting and the disguise, the masquerade of contact. So when you start thinking, ghosts appear as familiar faces, dead loved ones, children, figures of comfort. But are they really who they claim to be? Think about it. Everybody who says they've seen a ghost, it was their grandmother, their cousin, their brother, or whatever. It was somebody, some loved one. It was, and it's so ironic, because it could be, that person could be gone for like 40 years. I mean, like 40 years in an acre and some, they was gone for a long time. And this person is 80, and when they saw the ghost is still 16 when it left. It's like it didn't grow either. It didn't get no older, but the image is still the same. Spirits and demons often mimic ancestors, angels, or even religious figures during the possession of the seance sessions, right? In many traditions, spirits wear the face you want to see to earn your trust. Ghosts do the same thing, if it is, or if they come to you as an apparition or a ghost, they're doing the same exact thing. And aliens, too, appear in forms that suit the culture of expectations. Nordics, angelic, blonde, godlike. They come as those grays, the robotic, clinical, or clinical, emotional, detached, and don't leave out those pesky lizard people, the reptilians. The primal, demonic, controlling. Some contactees even describe the alien shape-shifting and entering mind encounter into entirely different forms. But they all are using mind magic, right? Yes, experienced people can shapeshift into, all right, so y'all with it. Somebody else said depending on the energy they felt. So, but y'all get where I'm going with this, right? It's worth us having this conversation tonight. We're going to be here a few hours. I hope y'all got time to stay, we might bring tomorrow together. It is 8:30 Central here in Dallas. This is where we are. Yeah, I think that's what they're doing, right? No trespassing. I got somebody that agree with me. They said, well, yeah, my magic. So, but I got a deeper question for you. And you go, my job tonight is to give you enough information that you can hear, see, maybe research, to awaken your curiosity to the possibility. We dealing with something, and we're dealing with one thing. And it just says, I'm just going to give them what they want. However, by all means necessary. If I need to take over this person, the soul, I'm going to do it with any and all tools in the toolbox, any folklore, any dream, any scares and fears that they may have. We're going to tap into whatever it is that's going to make the greatest impact on this human soul. Then that's what we see. So the question are these beings morphing to match our belief, or our beliefs reverse engineered to accept them? What do y'all think? What do you think about that? Are these beings morphing to match our belief, or are our beliefs reverse engineered to accept them? That's worth noting. That's worth noting alone by itself. See, you're going to get a lot of people that's going to run across this thumbnail. They're going to run across the title, and they may not even come in here tonight because they may think it's a simple conversation. But this is one of the deepest of them all, because this applies to everybody. I don't care if they don't believe in aliens, they believe in spirits. They don't believe in spirits, then they believe in ghosts. If they don't believe in ghosts, they're religious enough, they believe in demons. And if they believe in demons, they believe in gods. It's all across the freaking board here. We're going to touch on that tonight. We should meet everybody tonight. Somewhere, wherever they are, we're going to come to you. So just hang in wherever you are. We're going to come to you. Because if you think about it in a religious paradox that I'm going to talk about here, Satan is called the deceiver who appears as the angel of light. All right. So we're in that religious corner, people over here. All right. Now let's get back over here to you. Yeah, this group. Aliens are said to be, believers of the message, peace, love, galactic unity. Right before they abduct you and mutilate you, they come in a piece of love, right? Everybody says that all the time. And is that the same deception that we're wearing different faces, right? The same thing, right? However, as we bring segment 1 to a close here, what we call ghost, what we call a spirit or an alien, might be less about what it is and more about how we've been conditioned to interpret it. You get what I'm saying? And I'm going to say that because I wanted to put that in a more Ebonics speech when I slowed that down. Because what we call a ghost, a spirit, or an alien might be less about what it is and more about how we've been conditioned to interpret it. And one of those things will be, as we roll. Okay. All right, hang on. Okay, so you get what I'm saying. So Jen says she's going to come up here with us a little bit later tonight. That's cool. So I'm gonna skate through and do what we gotta do. But listen, the thing about it is the being never changes. That's something to think about. The story around it always does. Oh, y'all, you agree with me on that? The being never changes, but the story changes constantly. Are y'all with me tonight? Anybody? I know you are. So, catch more bees with the honey. It's about control. I heard that. Tina said it's in our head. Of course, I think so. Your spirit guides will help. Okay, I'm with you. So the thing that I want to say is this, but if it's true, then what we are, or what the ancients seeing in their myth. In other words, think about the ancient side of things. And why do every culture says that their beings are from beyond and sound eerily like what abductees and psychics describe today? Every culture, everybody says they're not from here. They're from the spirit world, or they're from another realm or another dimension, but they're not from here. Y'all get where I'm going tonight? You see what my complex of, or not my complex, but the complexity of the idea of all of these has been just toying with me for some time now. It just really has. And I've interviewed hundreds of people and different things. And then when I hear and I watch some paranormal stuff, I'm like, it's the same thing. It's just dressed different. That alien came to that wall last night. You hear the stories. and the ghost came through last night. Oh, and the demon came through the wall last night. And Bigfoot came through, just appeared miraculously, right? You get what I'm saying? It's like, where do we go with this? Where do we go with this? So, Miss Layla, let me see what she says. Well, first of all, our memories can be what our emotions interpret them to be, is what Monica says. Miss Lala, is it Lala? I am pronouncing it right. If I'm butchering it, go to the grammar box, please. She said, I can see through people as well, and I've been blessed with that since I could remember. I have worked in hospice, hospital, nursing home, etc., and I always know when someone is going to leave or be attacked, and etc. I'm pretty sure you're using yours as discernment, so know who and what to let into your life. Okay. All right, we'll go with that. Denisha says, I'm a mental health therapist and also work in psych wards, the same place my family put me in between the ages of 14 and 24. Shoot, you might be on a secret mission, like I'm letting everybody out free. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna free everybody. Like, you're gonna get out of here. But glad to see that you have overcome that. That's great. Limit said, preach. So, all right. Now we're going to get into segment 2 of 4. This is going to tie in the ancient myth and modern sightings. We're going to talk about the theme across every culture, the beings that hunt us, that guide us, and the ones that abduct us and test us. They share the same patterns, but their names change and their methods do not. Boy, if that's not going to be a good one for you. Because once again, everyone talks about those beings, okay? And like I said, the one that hunt us, that guide us, that abduct us and test us, they all have the same pattern. Hey, we're gonna get to something tonight. We're going to get to the bottom of a lot of things tonight, y'all. We're going to get to the bottom. She said, Miss Lala, we have a kingship. All right. So, Arian Diva says, I get where you're going about this. Cool. All right. Thank y'all. Somebody's letting me know y'all listening, because I know y'all be talking to each other and nobody's talking to me. And I got to look. I'm looking into this square box, pretending that I see all of you beautiful faces and that y'all sitting at it, and I'm just talking to everybody. We sitting around, we laughing, having a great time. You go, yeah, right, whatever. But that's not really true. Am I seeing spirits? Am I seeing beings? Am I seeing alien faces, thinking it's your face? What am I looking at, staring into this empty lens, pretending that I can see you smile, that you're agreeing with my conversation, that we're talking, and I'm in this room? But I have to visualize the spirits of everybody in here that's part of this conversation. Maybe I just answered everything for myself. My mind played tricks on me, maybe. I don't know. But it's a good trick, though, because I like it. I really do. All right, so we're going to talk about the Djinn, the D-J-I-N-N, fire without smoke, beings without form. This is an Islamic mythology, but more than myth, possibly the earliest documented non-human intelligence. Okay, this goes all the way back. Now, I'm going to give you a little attributes of the Djinn, so you kind of get the mythical foundation of this, okay? They're made of smokeless fire, energy-based, plasma beings. So again, smokeless fire, energy-based, plasma beings. They can take any shape, humanoid, animal, even inanimate objects. So they can be this iPhone, okay? They're invisible unless they choose to be seen. They live in parallel dimensions and the Alam Aga, or the unseen realm. They often abduct, tempt, or manipulate humans, especially children. What does that sound like to you? Okay. What does that sound like to you? Okay. And parallels to the ET. They're connected to the modern ET because smokeless fire equals plasma or interdimensional light forms. And many alien sightings begin as orbs or energy signatures. They're all the same. Shape shifting, the reptilians, the grays, even palladiums change appearance mid contact. Same like the Djinn. Invisibility, cloaking, frequency phase beings, same as the Djinns. Abduction of children, mirrors missing, time, alien abduction reports. You get what I'm saying? It's like they all are the same stuff. It's incredible. It's incredible. Should I continue? Yeah, I'm gonna continue. We got a long way to go because I'm out for the answers tonight. I'm out to solve and to so that we have the conversations that we're going to be having all out there everywhere we're going to go. We're going to have these conversations and we're going to do what we do. Now, once again, I'm going to tie in a little biblical stuff because we just got to, you know what I'm saying? Because I was raised this, you get what I'm going with this, right? So in Islam, interacting with the jinn is forbidden. Some are good, most are deceptive. So in modern day, light beings or spirit guides or beings in the skies, if they were. Is it New Age spirituality actually opening doors to ancient deceivers? You get what I'm saying? Because it's like it all crosses over. And when you think about it, I got a deep question. Okay, so this question that I'm going to ask, I want all of you to give me an answer. I want you to give me an answer in the chat so I can put it up on screen. I want y'all to answer the question. And this is just, it's kind of a deep thought question for you. Just something to make you go, all right? Just answer it in the chat. So let me know. Are we rebranding the Djinn as Palladiums or 5D star beings and forgetting that ancient texts warned us not to trust them? That's the question. It's not rhetorical because we got 100+ people in here. Maybe we can get a few answers. Are we rebranding the Djinn as Palladiums or 5D star beings and forgetting that ancient texts warned us not to trust them? What do y'all think? Denisha says, light beings, you got to know the difference. You have to be tuned in, she says. I agree with you on that one. I agree with you on that one. And if you haven't had an opportunity to like this video or subscribe to the channel, now will be a good time to do that. You know, make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel so we can get some likes up and everything else. Yeah, I think it's one of those things that we should do. Hang on a second here. So again, I think it goes to the thought of us making sure that we have a better understanding of what is happening here. You get what I'm saying? I think it is. All right, so Ella says, don't trust them. Scrimp says, Roderick, the GOAT. Jen says, sound like another rebranding of the same thing. I know, right? Because it just gets to a point where it just seems that way. It really does. It really does. It really does. Cole says, to me, it depends on what the being is saying you should do. What? Give gifts to a few people. Now it's Santa Claus. Or if it say go over there and make cheese of that person, then it's demonic. Or if it says go pull their souls out, I don't know. I'm just messing with you, right? But I get what you're saying because it makes sense. But what if it's a good one, a bad one? They're all disguised as the same. I don't know. But I get where you're going with that. Okay. And so we can go down the same rabbit hole, I should say. We really could. All right, let's keep going. Now, here is going to stretch a few little things because we're going to talk about fairies. We're going to talk about elementals. We're going to talk about the fade to folklore. We're talking about the Celtics, the Norses, the old European traditions. The little people, remember, who lived underground and stole humans in warped times. So let's talk about the trait of the fairies, the elementals, the fades. See, I'm not leaving nothing out tonight because I've been thinking about this for quite some time. Because it's like, you hear one story, you hear another. It's no different than the greatest story told all times, right? They say in 26 different languages. We're talking about the virgin birth, right? They said this story is told in 26 different languages, all told differently, but it's told. So let's talk about the traits of a fairy, of the elemental, and the fae. Dwelt in mounds, we're talking caves, forests, and underworlds. Not unlike modern underground alien bases. We're talking about the fae. There was a movie, they had the faes and the fairies or whatever. I forget the name. We talked about it here on the show before, where they was watching everything through this glass window or something, or the Watchers, right? Or something. I think it was similar to that. But remember, we talked about that, right? I think we did. Okay, so she said she was born in Seattle, bunch of fairies. You get what I'm saying? I'm in Texas, and we got aliens, UFOs, and other stuff here. Now, again, the fairies, the elementals, the fays, they were known to take people in their realm. Time passes differently there. They could glamour themselves, appearing to be beautiful or grotesque, depending on the intention. We know that already in from the movies. They are known for child abductions, replacement, changelings. Remember, they call them changelings, and emotional manipulation. See, you can't make this stuff up, but somebody did or something. Because where I'm going to go with this real quickly, this is a detour. Man, if all of this stuff is real, if fairies, fays, elementals, aliens, demons, spirits, and the list goes on, ghosts, paranormal, Bigfoot, if all of this is real, then people, we ain't got time to be arguing with nobody in no relationships enough, right? We got enough stuff out. We ain't even got to watch TV. We can cut off Netflix. We shut all that down because there is enough entertainment to keep our minds going into a heck of a storyline. Oh, and I forgot Santa Claus. I forgot Santa Claus, who's watching everybody right now, if you're naughty or nice. Yeah, Santa Claus. And that one is so good. That story is so good that every last one of us probably have told our children that Santa Claus is real. He's watching you. He's going to put a gift under the tree. Santa Claus became fake when you really wanted the ego to let you know, I bought that gift. I went to work for that. You know, Santa Claus bought you that, right? But before that, Santa Claus is one that we told to everyone. All right, so the phase stuff that I just mentioned echoes alien underground bases like in Dulce that we talked about. We talked about New Mexico, Antarctica, Pine Gap, Australia, you know, because we do a lot of alien talk here. Alien abductions involve time loss, memory tampering, screen memories, false appearances. It's the same thing as the phase, same thing as the elementals, same things as the fairies. We're talking about changelings. We're talking about hybrid programs. The idea of swapped humans still haunts us, right? Same thing as the phase, the elementals. It all appears to cross the same thing. You get what I'm saying? And everything else. It really do. So who knows, you know? And I don't know. I think it's one of those deals. I think it's just one of those deals to do. All right, so let me answer this because I am getting. Let me turn this down right there. There we go. Yeah. So let me continue that what we call ET, generic experimentation, today could be the same thing as old faith fascination with the human souls. Think about that for a minute. And they were not just trying, we're not talking about the biology. They were testing purity, energy, and essence. You remember that? The phase do the same thing. And if you want to think about it on more of a cultural stance, once worship and fear, fairies became bedtime stories. But in doing so, did we make the mistake of forgetting their true danger? And all of a sudden, fairies became good. Hell, but when you watch that movie, I forget once again the name of it. Somebody might have put it in the chat. I didn't see it. But when we watched that movie, them jokers wasn't good. Them fairies was ticked off. They was ticked off because they was trapped down in this place. But the changelings, I think, was their inner bird could get out. Y'all remember? They was mad. They did not like the situation. But that now people talking about fairies and you see little cute little wings and stuff. You know what I mean? I don't know. It's worth noting though. All right, so let me continue. Let's talk about angels and demons now. We're talking about the heavenly host of cosmic players here. You know, we're talking about the part with Hindu and divine messengers that have their dark opposites. Angels one way, demons another way. Well, now let me put both of these in context here. We're just talking. Let me give you the biblical angel side. They are pure and flashes of light, often unannounced, always with a mission. Fearsome to behold, often need to say, do not be afraid. That's what they say. Sometimes intervene in genetics. We're talking Genesis 6, Nephilim. Okay. But the demons seek possession, dwell in abandoned places, or appear in forms that deceive. They feed on emotions and weaknesses and trauma. And boy, can we tie that into the aliens. Angels as Nordics or tall whites, tall, glowing, radiant energy, speak of peace and evolution. And then the demons as the reptilians and the grays, manipulative, seeking control, described by abductees as emotional or parasite. You get what I'm saying? Each one has the yin and yang, so to speak. The angels got the demons. The aliens have the Galactic Federation type. And then we have the other side, the lizard people and the grays and all. Everybody got a for and against. You know what I'm saying? Not Batman and Robin type where they're working together. We're talking about Batman and the Joker or, all this kind of stuff. It's like they just the Superman and Kryptonite or Lex Luthor. Everybody's got the good and evil side. Every story, every one of them has the story. Y'all feel what I'm saying? Is it worth us looking into and thinking about when we go there? Okay, you get what I'm saying. Also, Jordan Maxwell, which y'all know is my favorite guy, he said the word angel comes from angelos, meaning messenger. It's a job description is what he said, not a species. So are aliens also messengers from higher realm and not just ours? That's a question. And if you want to go into a book, we can talk about the book of Enoch. It says that the angels defied God and taught forbidden knowledge. You remember? You remember that? And then are those the same beings we now contact in seances and channeling and UFO encounters? Because somebody's talking to somebody when they channel. They're contacting somebody when they do these seances. Those same things can come through the walls, just like these things do. The same thing can get into our minds, just like these things do. So, again, for those of you who've had paranormal experiences, and those of you who've had alien encounters, and those of you who've had ghostly encounters with your ancestors or your grandmothers or whomever, is it the same? Is it similar connectivity at the end of the day, apparitions or whatever you want to call them? Or maybe not. Maybe not. Maybe it's not. But the key question for this particular point is, are we demonizing ancient angels or sanitizing ancient demons simply because they know, or they come in ships instead of storms, right? When we're talking about these alien stuff. And let me kind of rephrase that the best way I can. In other words, are we demonizing these angels, the ancient angels that we talk about, and then we're I don't know, we're satanizing or other demons. It's like it's all the same. All right, so let's go into the serpent beings, because I couldn't leave that out. You know that. There was no way that I was going to leave out the serpent beings. Y'all know that, right? and everything else. Cole says, great question. Thank you. Good to know that someone's listening. Thank you. We have a person listening today. All right. Let's go with another part here. We're going to talk about the serpent beings, sky gods, and the global symbolism. We're talking about worldwide cultures here, from the Dogon to the Hopi to the Aztecs. All spoke of beings from the sky who shaped humanity. Y'all remember those stories, right? I'm going to give you a quick overview, though, if you forgot. The Nagas, the Indian Tibet, serpent gods who lived underground came from the stars. That was their whole folklore. The Aztecs, which was Quetzalcoatl or whatever, remember? The feathered serpent god, taught knowledge, and then he vanished. He just went out, just disappeared. The Mali, we're talking about the Dogon tribe. They worship, Nomo, an amphibious sky beings from Sirius B, which they knew about long before Western astronomy. How did they know that? Well, maybe it was true. The Hopi prophesied a whole bunch of stuff. They talked about blue star beings, underground cities, star brothers returning after the cleansing. Y'all get where I'm going, right? Because we hear all of these stories. Now, the conscious community is going to hear one part. The alien is going to hear some stuff. The paranormal and the Bigfoots and all that's not hearing none of this. They don't want to. They don't cross their layer, right? But if we put all of us together in a room and begin to talk, we just may say, "Huh, that's interesting. That's interesting." Yeah, it is contact@whythebigsecret.com. Okay, you got to use a .com. And I have not got a message. And speaking of that, I called Dr. Strange today. This is a quick detour, y'all. I didn't get your email. It's contact@whythebigsecret.com. Okay, so it was there. It came out a long time ago, but anyway, we'll keep going. When the live stream over, I'll clip that out anyway, so it ain't gonna matter. Ain't nobody else gonna see it. Nobody watches this anyway. Okay, they don't watch us anyway. All right, so let's keep going. And hell, they ain't worried about it. They already got it. They got what they got anyway. Let me put my outline back together. Here we go. I talked about the Nagas the Tibet, the serpent gods who lived underground that came from the stars. The Aztecs, the feathered serpent god who taught knowledge and then vanished. The Dogon tribe talked about the Mali. They worshipped Namo. They amphibious sky beings from Sirius B. The Hopi prophecies. Now, the parallels to all of this is to the reptilian ETs. There are ancient serpent gods. So who talked about that? In India, the Nagas. The amphibious or aquatic beings reported in the deep sea in UFO sightings all the time. Sirius and Orion is key locations in alien messages and abduction accounts. So could there be some overlap here? Every ancient god has stars. They all had serpents. They all had water and fire in their mythology. Every modern alien race has light, technology, emotionalist control, or genetic interest. You get what I'm saying? So the conflict is if ancient myths describes alien beings but encoded them as gods to avoid heresy, you get what I'm saying? Then modern religion is built on context stories that was simply rebranded. Think about that for a minute. Think about that for a moment. You get what I'm saying? What about that? How do we look at those things? A food for thought or not? Let's talk about the mask theory. Culture determines the face, but not the beings. Carl Jung, if y'all remember him, called them archetypes. Shamans called them spirit masks. Could they be adapting to our expectation? Ancient men saw gods. Medieval men saw demons and angels. 19th century saw fairies and ghosts. Modern man sees aliens and light beings. Y'all get what I'm saying? When you go through cultural times, how it all shifts. And let me repeat that. Carl Jung, of course, he calls them archetypes. I have the book in there. The shamans, they're going to be like, they all have spiritual masks. And again, when there was not technology, the ancient man is like, oh, these are gods from the skies. And then, of course, medieval, once again, they was like, oh, man, that angel or that demon or whatever. And then, of course, if you go back to early 1900s, we're talking about fairies. We're talking about ghosts. And then, of course, today, it's all about aliens and light beings, consciousness, stuff like that. She says they were symbols. But nothing has changed except the disguise, in my viewpoint. So I got two questions for y'all that linger. So I wrote down some questions that lingers with me, and I want you to help answer them. Why do we assume, this is question one, that each culture got it wrong until us? Why do we assume that? And I'm saying the alien culture, because all of us in the alien culture, in part spiritual consciousness. But most people assume that everybody else got it wrong until us, because now we say, no, they should, it's this or it's that. Because we see it in the chats a lot. And the other question is, what if they were all seeing the same thing just through different methodical filters? What do y'all think about that? What if every culture was seeing the same thing, even as today, even of yesterday, even a long time ago, paranormal, ghosts, whatever, just the filters. Everybody filters is different. Because once again, I'm saying if all of that stuff exists, if all of these things exist in one bowl, what kind of world do we have? What kind of world do we really, really have? Think about that for a moment. What kind of world do we really have? Because that's worth thinking about. And why didn't, and I think that if we think about it, we didn't invent aliens until the 20th century. If you remember, they just popped up in the 1940s. Remember? They were the gods of thunder, the watchers from the stars, the spirits beneath the earth, and then they never stopped visiting. We just stopped believing that they were divine and start calling them extraterrestrials. Because before that, like I said, they were gods. In the ancient times, when they wrote on the pyramid walls and carved stuff, they were gods. And now we call them extraterrestrials. Y'all with me on that? So that is something that I think that we can look at and see. All right, so we are going to move into another segment, and this is what I call science or magic. Technology versus the spirit realm. Could we call it paranormal or alien by misunderstood forms, advanced consciousness, manipulation, dimensional travel, and spiritual technology? Could we do that? I don't know. Maybe we could. Maybe we can't. Maybe it's something that we can do. Okay. So, Djinn, it's all what you call it. I may bring you up. Now, I have an outline I'm going to go through, and then so we'll just talk about everything as quickly, not everything, well, that way we can just I'll keep going, and you just kind of give me your thoughts compared to where we at. And I may bring a few more others up too, but the point would be we're going to talk about the connectivity between these ghosts, aliens, and then if you have a story, a ghost story, not an alien story, because we've heard about it. We hear, but I want to hear some ghost stories so we can see and hear some similarities. You know what I mean? And maybe that is something that we could think about. But anyway, we're going to talk about could what we call paranormal or alien be misunderstood forms of advanced consciousness manipulation, dimensional travel, or even spiritual technology? What do you think? I think we can go into that. Santanine says, Brother Rod, you got me thinking, what if we all are talking about the same thing, but just calling it under a different name concerning? Yeah, I'm with you on it. That's what I've been coming up to myself. And that's one of the things why we're having this conversation tonight, because even after we was doing these books all week and last week, I started going like, man, this stuff is same thing in some of these paranormal stuff. You know what I'm saying? And it's no different. So somebody is there, or something is close. All right, so let's talk about dimensional phasing. Are they slipping through the cracks of reality? That's a question. And for example, what I'm saying is we're gonna go with a surface ideal here. I want you to think about the way I lay this surface ideal, and this is kind of the part that we got started at the beginning of the show. And let me put it up here. So we're going to go with the surface idea of ghosts vanish into walls. Okay? So because we're talking about science and magic now. This is where we're going. This little section is going to twist and bring in your thought process. This section is going to grab the mind to begin to say, wait a minute, we're going to think logically here. We're going to get the logic out, because the logic is undeniable here. We're going to talk about the reality of the connectivities, because once again, ghosts can vanish through walls. Aliens materialize in the bedrooms, come through the walls. Demons appear in dark rooms that come through the walls. Y'all with me? They dissolve into nothing, and then none of them use doors. So what do you think about that? Am I on to something, or am I off in left field when I just said what I said? Because I'm going to repeat it, maybe with a little more emphasis. Maybe I'll put a little more story music to it. Ghost appears through the walls. Aliens materialize through the bedroom walls. The demons appeared in darkened rooms and they just came through the walls. Then they dissolved into nothing, all of them. And then Bigfoot shows up. What do y'all think about that, though? You get what I'm saying? They all do the same thing. They all do the same thing. They all do. But yet we have paranormal organizations. We have demons and satanic organizations, experts. We have aliens and stuff, experts. Then we have crazy people, experts. You know what I'm saying? The people, y'all get what I'm saying? It's like, really? And then we have the what's to do? The Truman Show. It's all a dome. Yeah. So it's kind of the you get what I'm saying? It's like, all right, we're all in the same place here. Listen, I'm just saying I've been doing this a lot, so I'm just am I making an argument though? Let me know if I'm making an argument. Let me know give me a 1 if I'm making a good argument. 2 if I'm in left field, and 3 just you ain't making no damn sense. So give me a 1 if I'm making a good argument. 2, I'm over a little bit in left field, and 3, you ain't making no darn sense at all. And it's okay. You could critique tonight. All right, we got some 1s. Cole says 1, Moans, Netta, Sonia 1s. And we got some yeah. All right. Carol says everything is perspective. All right, Denisha 1. All right, that's cool. Dr. Strange, Diana says 1. Now, it's good because, see, the godmother of our channel, Diana, has been around so long. I can pull off what our current administration said, where he can just walk out and unalive some people in the street and they still going to vote. She's still going to be like, well, we for Roderick or whatever, right? That's what I'm talking about, being down. Now, she might pull me to the side afterwards and slap me down a little bit, like, what you do that for? And then come back in public and say, Roderick, you didn't see that. Y'all didn't see him do that. But when it comes down on the forefront, she got me covered. But behind the scenes, she gonna slap me around, be like, you shouldn't have said that now. Of course, there's a few of y'all like that. All right, so we got some 1s. Okay, cool. We got some 1s. All right. So then I got a lot more. We got a whole lot more. And then we're going to bring some people up on stage. We got a whole lot more. So the question is, let's take it into a scientific part now. See, because we just talked about the spirits, the ghosts, and everybody walking through the walls. Now, quantum physics speaks of superposition, a particle existence in multiple states simultaneously. This is what the scientist people call it. The M theory and the brain cosmology suggests that multiple dimensions exist right beside us, but we're blind to them unless they overlap. So it's all of these dimensions, and 5th and 4th and 3rd and 17th dimension, and that's how we see them, and that's how they intersect into those walls, because all the dimensions are crossing each other. This is the scientific stuff. And when you hear that, and when you hear the scientific stuff, it's interdimensional, 17th dimension. This is when you give them and you look at them and be like,
that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard.
And then you say this to scientists. You say that to the scientists because they give you this whole quantum theoretical whatever. You don't even want Neil deGrasse Tyson here explaining this to us tonight, because he will break it down with the quantums and the layers of the walls and the spirits and the dimensional. He will break it down that way. Even though he's one of the most intelligent brains out there, I still will give him the look.
That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard.
You get what I'm saying? You have to. You would have to. By all means necessary. You would have to. Now, I get it. Carol says multiple things could be true at the same time. Yeah, I'm with you on that. I'm with you on that. I'm with you. But he's going to tell you that there is no aliens. You know what I'm saying? He's going to tell you that it's not it. Yeah. He's going to tell you. But that's how they roll. That's how they roll. All right, so Djinn says he's not one of the most intelligent people out there. He just popped up as one. He's smart, yeah, but there's others of forms of intelligence. Okay, I'm with you. See, that's our team right there. I stand on point. All right. So, but now I'm going to give you a few possibilities that I think about a little bit. These beings don't travel light years. They sidestep across frequency bands. That's something we think. See, ghosts are not dead. Aliens are not visitors. They are neighbors in another vibrational layer, just slightly out of sync. I think that's because everything is vibration. Everything is vibration. So I'm sure that that's the whole point. Everything is vibration. So why wouldn't we look at it that way? Now, but as always, if that's true, then our religious visions, let's think about that for a minute. Because if the vibrational thing, if there are neighbors in another vibrational layer, just slightly out of sync, and if that's true, then our religious visions, like angels, hearing voices, or receiving dreams, not spiritual revelations, but dimensional intrusions. Whoa, better be careful with that one. I better be careful with that one because I'm asking a question. I'm not saying, I just asked if it's true. And I know when I said that, some people was like,
can you say that again? I'm sorry, what?
I'm saying if it's true, then our religious visions, like seeing angels, hearing voices, or receiving dreams, not spiritual revelations, but are they dimensional intrusions? Think about that for a second. Is that possible? Is that possible? There are people who have great stories here. Yeah. Okay. Diana said, are we able to call in, Denisha? I think my number is hooked to the Google Voice, maybe hooked to my phone. I don't know. We're going to test it. It may be for later, but then we'll have some people on screen tonight too. I think I have a Google Voice number and the phone could be tied to the phone, but I will put a link. You can come in on the screen, but let me see. I just need to see because we're going to get interactive tonight, you know, and like I said, as long as we stay on point, y'all, we ain't going nowhere else because that hurts the channel. All right, so let me write this down. All right, so here's what I'm going to do in just a few seconds here, just to test. This is not where we're going yet. I'm going to write let me see if this thing will plug up to here first. Let me see here. It may not. We're supposed to have the technology. to do. Let's go. Boom. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to put my Google Voice number on here for call in. I just want one person call the number just to see if it works for later, okay? And then I'll know if we are working. Call to test. That's all I want is someone to call and test. And it ain't gonna, let me try this right now. So let's do this. Okay, right there. Somebody call that number while we're talking, and we're gonna test and see if it patches in through the board over here that you can't see. We have a board. I don't think y'all can see it. I would have to really move the camera. I'm not gonna do that because I'm coming loose and stuff. But all right, I just put it there. Maybe somebody can test that number. Well, Jesse, you said that before. I told you, send me an email, contact@wildabigSecret.com with contact number, a number, so we can talk and meet. All right. My watch is ringing, but my phone is not ringing. Oh, here it is. Okay. Let's see. Hello.
Put it there. Maybe somebody.
Okay, you got to turn down.
To send a voicemail, press 2.
Okay. All right. Hello. Hello. Did that not work? Okay. That did not work. Yeah.
Call from Djinn.
Okay.
To accept.
All right, Jen. Did it work?
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
I mean,
Hear me?
can you hear me through the phone, or are you listening to me live?
I can hear you through the phone. There's a delay on live.
Okay, great. Can y'all hear Jen on the just talk a little bit. See if y'all can hear her through the speaker system.
Can y'all hear me through the speaker system? They say yes.
Who says yes? I don't see nothing yet. Okay. Oh, they can hear you. Okay. All right. Well, we know it works.
Yes.
But regardless, you coming on screen. You just testing the phone, correct?
Well, yeah, but you said, can someone test it?
I did. Okay. You're right. You got me. All right. So I'll have you up in a little bit, and then our ghost hunter says she might drop in tonight too, and everything else. So, all right.
Okay.
All right.
Sounds good.
Mm-hmm.
All right, bye.
Bye. Okay. Got another.
Call from Tina.
All right. So I know you're getting a delay because we already tested it and worked, but since I didn't want to ignore your call, right?
Huh?
You can hear me, correct?
That part. Yes, I can.
Okay. Well, we had already, I don't know how far behind, but you called, but Jen tested it first, but I didn't want to ignore a call. But anyway, so now we know it's working. I'll open it back up a little later.
Then.
Okay. All right. Appreciate it. Thank you.
All right.
All right. So we're going to be good tonight. We're going to have on stage, and then we're going to have some call in. So I'm going to take this number down for now, and we will do it. All right. So we're going to have some of y'all to call in, especially if you got a ghost story that we can tie into this conversation. So we might have some people on the screen, and then y'all may be able to ask them questions, call in and ask them a question. Oh yeah, we're going to get good tonight. We're going to really test our technology tonight, because otherwise you're going to think you're hearing spirits and it ain't real. But if you call in, all right, so appreciate it, Tina, and the rest of you. All right, so someone that says the inner Tabit's thought wrote about traveling to space where some dark entities would destroy his soul. He had to escape them in spirits because they came through angels. All right. So, and now Denisha said that you called. I don't know. I don't remember. But try again, and Denisha, you said you tried to call. Somebody hung up in my face, and maybe that was you, because I said hello and they went click, like whatever. But if it was you and you didn't hang up, you can call back real quick and say hello, You got the number, and then we'll come back later. But I just want to honor everyone who tested the number. Okay. All right. So let me keep going. But I did know somebody hung up in my face. I felt it. I felt the energy of in your face, like click, yeah. But I know, not everybody's doing it. All right. So we're going to go into, like I said, the possibilities here. So let me taper back. We said ghosts vanish into walls, aliens materialize in bedrooms, demons appear in dark rooms. They all dissolve into nothing. None of them use doors. We all agreed on that. Quantum physics speaks of superposition, a particle existing in multiple states simultaneously. The M theory, the brain cosmic thought suggests that multiple dimensions exist right beside us, but we're blind to them. We can't see them unless they overlap. We just talked about the possibility that these beings don't travel through light years. They sidestep or they cross frequencies and brands. But here's the deal. We talked about in the religious visions of that, but I got a deeper question. Have we mistaken technological dimensions hopping as divine visitations, though? You get what I'm saying? Have we mistaken technological dimensions, the dimension hopping, how they're hopping through dimensions, as divine visitations? What if it's technology? What if it's technology? Oh, so she said it was. So she was you hung up in my face. Okay. It's all right. It's all good, though. I've had that happen. I was married once. I know what it feels like to be hung up in your face, huh? long time ago. But listen, where I'm going with this, we talk about dimensional hopping. And it could be technological things, right? What if it is? What if it is? And if so, what else have we misclassified as a miracle that was a mechanism? See, that right there, if you go back to all the stories, what have we think about? And I want all of y'all to get involved in this thought. What can you think of that we talk about was a miracle? We misclassified as this miracle that was probably a mechanism, a technological mechanism. What do y'all think? Y'all get what I'm saying? What do y'all think about that? Tina said it might have been her too. So now I got two of y'all hanging up on me at one time. Everybody admitting it. Okay. I watch cops. Bad boy. And they catch people with televisions in their hand and nobody say, okay, you got me. They always say it ain't what you think. I don't know why I just thought of that. But anyway, what do y'all think about what I just said as far as this dimension hopping that they're doing, and we mistaking things as miracles, especially in the past and ancient stuff, when it could be technological advancement that's reaching into our vibrational zone. She said, you're not the cops. It's not that serious. You're right. We won't go there. However, I'm saying, so Peter said, how about when we leave our bodies in dream state, would that be the same? Well, we could be talking about astral or whatever in the Bible. We could be, you know what I'm saying? All right. So let's think about this then. These beings don't travel light years. They sidestep across frequencies. Ghosts are not dead. Aliens are not visitors. There are neighbors in another vibrational layer, just slightly out of sync. Maybe that is what's happening. If you remember the movie Stargate, there was a series they had on where the vibrational things.
Why the big secret?
Okay, so we got a call there. Let's see. Hello. Hello.
Hi,
Hi. How are you?
I'm well.
Who am I?
I was just checking the work. I was calling for. Are you speaking to Tree to talk about a ghost story?
Yep, we're gonna be talking about ghost stories. That's true.
This is the right number I call.
You called the right number. You dialed the number that was on the screen, right?
Yeah, I sure did.
Was
It
Sugar
says
Honey?
test. Call to test. So I'm making sure I'm testing.
Well, you definitely got the test. You get
Oh.
an A today. You won't flunk this course. All right. So,
Yes, I did.
All right.
I
So,
sure
all right. Well,
did.
keep the number, and then you have a ghost story for us in a little bit. We're gonna bring them all up in a little bit.
Got you.
What's and then who we speaking with?
You speaking with Tree?
Okay. I'll tell you what. You got a ghost story?
Yes.
All right. Go ahead and tell me. Let's go with it right now. Tell us your ghost story. Give us the details. Just remember, somebody might have their kids watching, and they need to have those bad dreams because I warned them. So if you get graphic and they have bad dreams tonight, we already told them put the kids to bed. So all right, go for it. And
It won't be graphic.
And turn down the back volume because we can hear you twice.
Got you. Can you still hear me twice?
Nope. Well, I was hearing myself twice, not you.
Perfect.
But I mean, I like how I sound.
Okay.
But yeah. All right. So tell us the story. Let's roll.
Yeah. Okay, so this is, I have a few, but I'm going to just tell you the one that is coming to my heart. Again, guys, I'm from Liberia, West Africa, and I was a kid. I was about 5, 6 before I came to America. And my grandmother, every morning we used to get up, it's like a mountain where you would go up the stairs, and I'll go up to my Uncle Thomas, and he will always give me and my cousin like 25 cents for the day. 25 cents back then, that's a lot of money for us in Africa. So like you rich. So this morning, my grandmother sent us up to wake him up. And when we went up there, and for us to get our money, and when we went up there, and I'm shaking him. I was like, Uncle Thomas, he's not moving. Again, at that time, I had no idea he had already passed away. So I do what he always did. I went on the table. He had a whole bunch of coins on the table. Took what he will always give us. So I took mine and I gave mine to my little cousin, and then we went back down the hill and went back in the house to Grandma. And I said, Grandma, I tried to wake him up. He didn't wake up. Well, after like an hour or two, I guess my grandmother sent one of the older cousins up there, and she came back and was like, he's not moving. I think he's died. He has passed. So my grandmother crying. They called the people that takes care of the body. They came and brought him down, and my grandmother crying around me was like, you found your uncle passed away. Your uncle passed away. So this would be like my grand uncle. Anyway, after Uncle Thomas passed away, let's say within a week, my grandma was a seer, so she should see. So he came to everybody to visit those people that he was close to in the house. So now it was my time. And she told me, because I slept right under my grandmother, I was like the most scariest kid. I'm like, what? She said, your Uncle Thomas is going to come visit you tonight. And I'm like, what?
I'm like, what? Yeah, I'm saying it too.
Her. Yeah, I'm under her. We in it because I slept with my grandmother, and I was like under her arm. Like if she moved, I move. You move, then I move. Like that type of thing. Like I was so afraid, and I had to go to the bathroom. So while I'm finally fall asleep, then I had to go to the bathroom, and I had to go to the bathroom so bad. And I don't know what time it is because it's dark, it's midnight. Grandma's sleeping, and I'm under her, and I'm like, I guess I'm going to pee in this bed tonight because I'm not moving. Honey, I just felt the body, the weight. When a spirit entered the room, you are heavy. You can't speak. I was trying to call my grandmother to say, Grandma, I need to go to the bathroom because my grandmother had a bathroom in her room, and I couldn't speak. My mouth, everything was heavy, no sound, nothing. And it was like my uncle knew I had to go to the bathroom, so he literally took over my body. He lied on me, like he was like heavy on me. The best way I could explain on how it felt. So he lied on me, and he lifted me up, and I heard a voice. He said, "Go to the bathroom. Do not be afraid." And he lifts me up out the bed. I'm still ain't moving, and he's moving me. He's moving me. And he takes me to the bathroom, and he help whip inside of me, but he's doing it. It's not me controlling me. He's doing it to sit me down. And as soon as I sat on the toilet, I just started peeing. I was so nervous and so scared. After that, put my clothes back on. I lied right back down on the grandma. He with me this whole time. And after I lied down, right back down, the spirit, he just left me. Like he just left my body. And of course, I didn't sleep for the rest of the night. I was just under grandma. I was so scared. And then he went to grandma. So the next day, when my grandmother woke up, my grandmother looked at me and was like, why were you scared? And I'm looking at her like, Uncle Tom was scared of me, Grandma. And she's like, well, why were you scared? He said, if you would have peed, and then she got up and she's like, if you would have peed in my bed, you would have gotten a whooping. You had to go pee, and you over here scared of your uncle, and he was always there for you and do everything for you. Your uncle used to spoil you. Why are you scared? I'm like,
so
why wouldn't I be scared?
Your grandmother had a problem with you being scared of your ghost uncle.
Yes.
And she was more concerned about you peeing in her bed and not getting up.
Yes.
And then you had your ghost uncle come and get you out of the bed because he knew you peed in the bed when he was here too, right? Or no?
No, I did. I would have peed in the bed. I would have peed in the bed that night. I ain't gonna tell you no lie, because I was so. But he literally picked me up, took control of my body, and took me to the bathroom. I will never forget it.
Now, have you ever heard of? I forget what they call it. Maybe the audience can help me. Is it succubus? What's the name of that, y'all? Because we're talking about sleep paralysis too, that you were describing a little bit. But they talk about these. But this was your uncle, though. But in most cases, there's some people.
Yeah, this is uncle. Yeah. I know what a sleep paralysis is. I have had that
succubus,
too, where a spirit lay on top of you.
Yeah.
Like I told you, I got plenty of where a spirit lay on top of you, and you know they're on top of you, and you can't move. It wasn't that time. I could move. I just couldn't speak. Like I was trying to speak, everything was heavy. But when the one they call sleep paralysis, that's when literally a spirit enters on top of you and is holding you down.
Right,
and
right.
You cannot move, you cannot turn, you cannot do nothing. All you can do is begin to pray. I have been through that one too, where I literally, and what I just kept saying this prayer, Psalms 91. I just kept saying it over and over and over again, and it just left me. So yeah. That is 100% true too, as well.
Well, again, I have one question before you go. What on earth were y'all buying that was 25 cents? What could you buy with a quarter?
Ooh, honey, you can get you some peanuts. You can get you, like you know how the cones, like you guys have, like the ice cream cone, but they take the paper and wrap it up. They take the paper and wrap it up in a cone, and you can get you, and that's just that would just be like 2 cents out of the 25 cents. So like we had money. 25 cents was like a lot. Was like probably like $10 to us as a kid let's say to American money. So it was a lot. So you can get yourself a drink. You can get yourself some fried fish. You can get yourself some candy. You can do a lot as a kid with 25 cents.
Ooh-wee. All right. Well, listen, I appreciate you calling in, sharing your story. Now that was kind of like, and your grandmother's what is taking me for a loop. For her to be like, you should get up and go with your uncle. It's like when he comes, you got to go play. It's like, really?
No, she wasn't saying to go play. No, she was just saying,
well, I mean,
uncle's going to come.
He's going to, oh, so she already knew.
Yeah, she already knew.
Okay.
Because he came to everybody. He visited those, like my older cousins that wasn't scared. They were talking about, oh, your uncle came to me last night. Yeah, to tell us bye. Like he was just coming to say bye. He wasn't coming for him to take you anywhere. And you know what I'm saying? So she was just like, your uncle going to come see you tonight.
Yeah.
Like that. But with me as a kid, I'm afraid. It wasn't until I was about 14 when she sat all of us down and began to tell us, like, y'all each have gifts and y'all can't run from it. Y'all can try, but it won't work.
Okay.
So you cannot be afraid of your gift. You have to embrace it. So she was literally a seer. You know what I'm saying? She could see if my grandfather, she was like, your grandfather came here. My grandfather passed away when my mother was 12 years old.
Yeah, I believe
because grandpa will always come.
Because I had that same story a little bit. All right, so I appreciate you, Tree, and you and I catch up, and I appreciate you calling in.
All right.
All right.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you for having me.
All right. Okay. So here's what we're gonna do. We still got more for me to talk about here, and I will. But I saw it. Let me bag up. Denisha said that she had an angel story. Okay. Since we are coordinated that they could be ghosts, so I'm gonna make sure nobody else called the number but her. Okay. That way we can receive call at a time. And what we're gonna do tonight, before you call, we'll put your name up here on the screen. That way I can write them down, and then I'll say, okay, such and such call. That because I only have a one line and 5 people call it. We don't have a call answering machine. Okay. So Denisha, if you want to share your angel story, go ahead and call now, and then I'll continue with my story, and then we'll bring up some more callers, and then we'll get some other people on screen too. So, all right. So go ahead and call now. And since we all know it's you, and let me know whenever the caller, when I patch him in, you all let me know. Just say we can hear the speaker, right? Because I can't tell. I can hear in my headphones, but if it's disconnected, because we've had problems with this thing before. Okay, so we'll do that. All right, so let's go here.
Why the big secret?
Denisha.
Okay. All right, there we go. All right, so welcome to
Can you
the
hear me?
Truth versus Authority. Yes, I can hear you.
Okay.
Okay, we're gonna make sure the audience can hear you as well
talk
too.
to you on the phone.
Okay,
Yeah, can y'all hear me? Hold on, let me turn back on my volume.
all right. Now you got to turn. You got to turn down your volume though.
You on the phone.
You got to turn your volume down because it's just me and you right now. Nobody else, but the other 100 people listening, 100 plus. Okay, so they can hear you. All right. So first of all, where are you calling from?
Oh, I'm calling from Atlanta, Georgia.
Atlanta, Georgia. All right. Welcome, Atlanta, Georgia. And you said you had an angel story.
Yes. So, when I was 21, I was in college in Virginia. It was a lot of places. But when I was in college,
is that a long
one
time
night
ago?
I was cooking.
Is that like a long time ago? Were you like a long?
It was. That's almost. It's almost 13 years ago. Almost.
Damn. Look, what's that Kevin Hart been like? Damn it. Okay. Well, you ain't that old then. You're probably in your 40s. You're in your 40s. Okay. 30s? Something. Okay, keep going.
No, I'm in my 30s. I'm 30. I'm 33. I'll be 34 soon.
Well,
yeah.
According to Kevin Samuels, that is outlet time. But go ahead. I'm sorry. Don't worry about that. If y'all don't know who that is, don't worry about that. But go ahead.
So I was in college. I was cooking fried chicken, and the oil started burning because I didn't know. I was learning how to cook, so I didn't know you're supposed to take pour the bottom part out before you fry more chicken in it, because I had fried the day previously.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm trying to take the oil and pour it somewhere safe. Somebody hadn't cleaned the kitchen. I slipped on something, and the oil fell all over my arm. It was hot, burning hot. It fell all over my arm and on my foot. I ran to the bathroom screaming. Everybody was like, "What's wrong? What's wrong?" I had 3 other roommates. It was, "What's wrong? What's wrong? What's wrong?" And like my skin is like, it's getting really bad. It was very graphic. I'm not going to go into all the details, but so they called the ambulance. The ambulance didn't take long to get there. It took about 5 minutes. Mind you, I didn't have insurance. A little backstory, I was in foster care for 11 years. So when I got out, they told me I wasn't going to be able to get insurance. So I didn't know I could still get insurance under Obamacare, under his new laws. But anyway, so I didn't know I could have got insurance. So I didn't have insurance. The ambulance come, they pour the saline water on me, and they load me. They said, "Do you want to go to the hospital?" I was like, "Yeah, I have to go because it's like a first or second degree burn." So I get in an ambulance, and there was this guy, Hunter. I remember his name. He was very, very nice. There was another guy. He was not very nice. And I just saw something in his eyes, and it was like, this is not a good, nice guy. But I was lucky the other guy was the one who actually loaded me into the ambulance. I'm in the back, just sitting on one of the chairs back there. And we're driving down to Centera to go to the hospital. I'm like feeling like a deep sadness, because I'm like, oh, I'm not going to be beautiful anymore. Like, I'm going to be ugly. Like, I'm going to be scarred for the rest of my life, which I am still scarred, but I don't think I'm ugly or anything. I was, just you think like that. So I look up, and I'm staring at something, and slowly the light begins to glow, and it's like an outline of a figure. And so I look at the other guy I'm driving, the medical, the EMT that I'm in the ambulance with. He's looking at it too. He says, "I see it," and he was like, "I was like, what?" He's like, "What is it?" And I was like, "I think it's an angel." And it looked at me like it was telling me to just relax. Everything's going to be okay. And I went through a lot of things after this happened, but I remember this moment. And it was telling me, it was calming me down. And then it looked at me like it was surprised I could see it. Then it just like glowed really quickly, and then it just disappeared.
Hmm.
It was the most strangest thing. I've countered something else like that before, but that was like the most, because I wasn't the only one who saw it. The guy also saw it too. And it was so strange, but it was like, I know I'm going to be okay now. And then like, even though I didn't have medical insurance, they offered me a grant where they would cover all my costs. They gave me free medication. The healing process was pretty easy for me. And yeah, so that was my experience. And it was a very traumatic. I ended up getting expelled from that college for mental health reasons. But I remember that moment. And so it meant a lot to me that that angel showed itself to me to help me through feeling very vulnerable.
Well, you know, it's, and that's what we was talking about earlier, how all of our interpretations, right? Because good came out of it, right? We can say, oh yeah, it was an angel, or it could have been ancestral, right? Or it could have been something of the sort of, what if it was your ET alien guardian, like a Palladian, or you get what I'm saying? It could have been any of it, but
yeah, I don't know what it was. It had wings. It looked like a little, it wasn't a big angel. It was like a little one.
That could have been a fairy. The fairy has wings.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, it could have been a fairy.
Yeah, I don't know. It was a strange experience.
Yeah, I had that to happen to me when I was a kid. I was, my mom told me the story. I don't remember, but I was 4 or 5 years old. I should remember, but I see the pictures. But apparently I was reaching up on the stove, and she had a whole big pot of boiling water. So it came down on me in my arm. So I don't know if y'all can see it here, but if y'all look, you will see there's a dark patch right here on my wrist. So the skin, I had to have a skin graft, and it was on my chest. You can't really tell here over, but when she picked me up and grabbed me, said, "Oh, my baby," it pulled off all of, the skin or whatever, because of the heat of the boiling water.
Yeah.
But I could have sworn I saw some things. And then I remember when my stepdad hit me across the face with a extension cord, I saw all kind of lights and stars and whatever, right? And you think about all these things of what we see. You just go back to like, okay, what is going on? And then I've told y'all about my story when I went to the UFO conference and all of these things. So there's a lot of things out there. It's again how we see it, but are we still talking about the same, the same energy or whatever it is that's watching over us, our guardians? Could it be an angel? Could it be a spirit? Could it be or whatever? But obviously, from your take, it's an angel, right? Of how everything worked itself out, and not saying nothing wrong with that. But anyway, someone else said that there was a lot of spirit something in Atlanta. Hang on, she said something. Let me go back. She said a lot of
yes, I've seen that on TikTok a lot. That people are talking about there's a lot of spiritual energy in certain locations. I feel like Stone Mountain. That's not really Atlanta. It's like a different county, but Stone Mountain, they say, has like spirits. If you go to like the Civil War sites where there were battles for the Civil War, my friends have told me stories, because they'll say you can't be out of the park after night, and people do it anyways. And I've heard stories from people saying they could hear like the battle was still going on in the Civil War, like the Civil War site where the battle was. You can still hear the battle. And then they build a lot of new construction and old buildings. Like today I went to this place called Pond City Market. It's in Atlanta. And it's an old like textile building from like the 1800s. And every time I go in, I feel like something's watching me.
Hmm.
I love going in there, but I always feel like something's watching me.
Well, there's people that have been doing stories of whatever some of the Tesla cars have some type of vision thing on them or whatever. And when they drive, through graveyards, they're able to see infrared energy bodies walking everywhere. But when you're looking out the window, and some people actually put their phone on their screen of the car, and you see these bodies walking, and then you're looking up here, you see nothing, but somehow it's picking up the signatures or whatever. So maybe that's something.
There's a lot of old grave sites here.
All right, Judith says something showed up last night. Okay, y'all got all these. Maybe we open up the Pandora's box here, pretty much. But anyway, thank you.
But very nice talking to you.
Well, it's good, and hopefully, like I say, you have full recovery of everything, and of course, we will.
Oh, it's been 10 years. I'm recovered now. It's been a long time.
Okay, it's been a long time. All right, and I appreciate you watching the show, being here with us tonight, and even with my eyes closed, you're a beautiful being. Okay, so we will go there.
Thank you so much. You have a blessed night.
You too. All right. Okay, so where we are is just thinking about what we're hearing there. Just the coordination of her story, and then of course Tree's story, and like I say, the ghost stories of what we see, or angels, and that can still be considered a ghost story, and the similarities of light, similarities of, the phenomena, right, that people are seeing, it all appears to be connected, even to someone was telling the alien story. So we can literally take out the angel in her story, replace it with a Palladian. A galactic federation came to help me. You get what I'm saying? And so we can look at a lot of these things with the similarities. And again, it's how we are going to interpret those things, and pretty much. So I think, once again, we're on to something. It's something that we want to look through and really think about as we go down. Now, the other part of this, let's talk about the consciousness interface with this, the mind as the battlefield. Because I've always said it, your eyes are useless when your mind is blind. And when we started Truth versus Authority, we came down the path of saying, okay, let's start looking at the mind. How is all of this coming from there? And she says she found her people. Well, welcome home. If you're talking about us, then welcome home. Welcome home. And pretty much. So y'all, but you get what I'm saying, right? We pretty much understand that it's the mind that they are after, and how they could try to alter things. So let's talk about paranormal evidence a little bit. And remember, I said how ghosts speak through EVP. They speak through whispers during sleep paralysis, and they give psychic visions. We're talking about the ghosts. Now, when you start talking about spirits, they use medium, possessions, and dream states. There's a connection there. But when we talk about ET contact, aliens don't speak with their mouth. They use telepathy. Okay. Contactees are reporting receiving downloads, visions, warnings, often in their altered states. But they all are connected. Y'all get what I'm saying? They all are connected in such a way that we have to assume that there is connections. Now, if we start talking about similarity, or both bypass your five senses and speak to the mind's back door, they don't just knock, they just enter. They don't ask for permission when this happens. So let's look at it from a religious standpoint. The Bible warns of familiar spirits and voices not from God, right? New Agers call these the same voices star family, or higher self, or ascended beings. Now, if there's a spiritual war being fought through the hijacking of human consciousness, what if there is? What if everybody is after the human consciousness? We already know transhumanism, AI, and all that stuff is on the path. They're on the path. And pretty much there. So it's like, what happens when we think about these things, and you pretty much look at how they are connected. Now let's give it a little twist here for a minute, though. Let's twist it up just a little bit. What if this wasn't spiritual at all, but a non-human intelligence uploading thought forms into our neural field like software updates? Think about that for a minute. Let's just chew on that for a minute. What if it's not a spiritual thing? Because we're in this holographic box, or we're in this dome, or we're in the matrix, right? We're in the matrix. So, but what if what non-human intelligence? What if that's what it is? That's uploading thought forms into our neural fields like software. We call it downloads. We're using the same language. Some people say, I got a download last night. That's like a software, right? That's a thought. You know, what if that's close? How do we look at that for a moment? What do we think about for a moment? And let me know if anyone else got a ghost story. Anyone got a ghost story or paranormal or whatever story? Say I have one, and then I'll put you on this list here. We'll write it down, and then we'll say, okay, you call in, and that way one at a time will call in. I'll look into the chat in a minute to see if anyone said that. But okay, so where are we going with this? That means that your dreams may not be your own. Think about it. So we having these dreams, it may not be your own. Your thoughts may have been inserted by something, or your beliefs may have been shaped by entities who know how to appear as we need to trust them. You know what I mean? You get what I'm saying? What if that's it? Bucko, we ain't talked to Bucko in a long time. What's going on, Bucko? How's it been, my friend? All right, so but you get what I'm saying? What is that? You know, what would that mean? What does that mean, that our dreams is possibly not our own? Or they're, you know, they said that they can plant thoughts. We talked about that last night with the alien Theo. She said that she was implanting images in Michael's mind, you know, making him think he can crash, or it was going to crash, remember? Because he was disturbed by that. Theo was like, okay, you know. So what could that be? How will we look at such a thing, you know, across the board? All right, so if you haven't had an opportunity, I want to see if you go ahead and like this video, please. Go ahead and put a like on it, and let's see what we're doing here. Miss Layla, somebody said something about Miss Layla. Miss Layla, I have gifts of dreams, prophet, hearing. You know, I'm dipping in y'all conversation. I don't even know what Miss Layla said, if she said anything. I don't even see anything. I'm scrolling. Maybe y'all in a whole different conversation. Boy, I'm dipping. He said, wow, I thought about that. Could it all be fixed? What about, yeah. What about we all, yeah. What about we all are all ancestors? I don't know, a favorite, 777. It's Tree, same person. Will you change your name or something? Oh, okay. Gotcha. Okay, we'll go with that. All right, so let's go with this. Let's talk about missing time, spirit trance, and temporal rift. So we're going to go into the phenomenal parallels. Abductees often lose hours, even days. They wake up in the beds or fields with no memory, no bodily signs, scars, implants, or nosebleeds, you know. They just wake up. Now, let's compare this to a possession victim. They often go blank with no recollection of the violence they perform under the influence of a spirit. Shamans, let's think about that. Across ancient culture, describes entering timeless realms during a trance. Hours passed outside while mere minutes were experienced within. All of these phenomena, just think about that for a minute. And let me repeat that. abductees, if you heard the story, they often talk about loss of time, even days. They always talk about how they wake up in different places. The possession victims, they go blank, no recollection. Shamans across ancient cultures describes entering the timeless realms during a trance, where hours pass outside, while mere minutes were experienced within. All of that's connected. But if we think about a whole theory together, something takes people out of time, out of space,